Today, I'm Aditi Mathur in conversation with Ekta Rohra Jafri, a design leader and former design director at IBM. Good morning, ma'am. It's a pleasure to share the stage with you. Starting with that, I would like to ask, in your illustrious career, which one project is your favorite and why?
That's a really hard question, but it's a great question. See, the world of medicine has always been very, very close to me. A lot of people in my family have gotten ill, which is like all normal families, but I'm an organ donor as well. So I've had a very deep and illustrious relationship with hospitals, right? So I worked on this product called My Healthcare. It's a really very successful startup today. And if you use the Fortis app, for instance, or if you use the Apollo app, it's based on My Healthcare. Okay. My Healthcare is the original white label product that's used to create that application. So when I was putting together the product, I had to use almost every medical skill that I could think of, right? So how do residents function, for instance? Or what does the biggest problem for nurses? Or why does billing take so much time? Or how does a doctor ensure that his patient is being taken care of the best? Right? So a lot of these questions which we normally do research for, and even then we're not really able to find them, because if you look at it from the outside, there is only that much insight that you can get into an ecosystem. But since I was very internal with the world of medicine, since I had a very, let's say, long relationship with hospitals, I've spent a lot of time in hospitals, so I intrinsically knew about that. Right, and I knew what are the problems to be solved, and I was very interested and very invested in solving those problems. So I think My Healthcare was my favorite one, and yeah, if you use Fortis today or if you use Max today, you will be booking your appointment using my design.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's very nice. I was really inspired by your project of a pregnant woman's friend. So can you please elaborate about that project? We would love to know about it.
Sure. So Uma, I like to say that Uma is a dream. That a bunch of us in IBM, we got together, it was COVID, middle of COVID. And we were all in our different home locations, right? Somebody was in Goa, somebody was in the interior hinterland, somebody was in Kashmir, somebody was in Madhya Pradesh, and so on and so forth. So we were all in our home places. And we had access to rural audiences. So we said, India is the next bastion, right? The grassroots is the next bastion that we have to conquer. So why don't we get some experience with it? Meanwhile, while we're here, let's make lemonade from lemons, right? So we took the lemons that COVID gave us, and we said, what do we want to do? So we all came together, and one of us really wanted, me and another person really wanted to fix the whole nutrition issue that's there in the maternal healthcare system in the rural areas in India. So in India, if you look at rural mothers, a lot of them don't follow their doctor's advice. In following that doctor's advice, it could be that they can work, for instance, and they don't work, they sit on the bed. Or they should take iron, which they don't take, or they should take folate, which they don't take. I did not take iron and folate when I was pregnant, right? So it's actually a systemic problem that exists in mothers in India. And when we did the research, I had my eyes opened in so many ways, because so many doctors told me that India subsidizes the distribution of iron, folate and other medicines, and it's WHO prescribed, right? So to be compliant with WHO norms and to reduce the maternal deaths in India, as well as the health issues that happen to little children. When we did that research, doctors told us that they actually set fire to a lot of that medication which the government has given them free of cost. They put it in a heap. They all come together and they set fire to it, right? And that is such a loss, isn't it? It's such a big loss. And it's not just a loss for for the government or for WHO or for anybody else who's invested in that whole ecosystem. It's also a loss for mothers because they lose their health when they have the child. They lose their health. Some of them are not even able to have the child because they're very highly anemic and they have miscarriages and so on and so forth. And children, even up till late in life, have nerve issues, have problems because their mothers have not taken iron and folate at the same time, right? So a lot of the health issues which are there in rural India today are actually, you could trace them all the way back to maternal nutrition. So once we found that out, we even got more driven. We got more driven and we said, you know, how can we solve this? So we looked at enterprise design thinking, which is a patented methodology for IBM, right? But then we felt a little bit constrained. We said we need more. So we applied service design to it. We said, you know, in the maternal ecosystem, in the maternal healthcare ecosystem, there are various layers of people. There are various layers of the ecosystem. There's the clinic, there's the nurse, there's the doctor, there's the mother-in-law, there's the husband, and so on and so forth. Huge ecosystem that they're a part of. So how can we solve it from a systemic perspective by affecting all those layers, right? So that was a very interesting conundrum for us. So we went to solve it and we got a lot of ideas. And I was just speaking to a student here about the ideas that we got. One of them was a game that the pregnant woman could play with her husband, because we realized that the lines of communication were blurred between the pregnant woman and the husband. So maybe they can play a game together, right? Or maybe they can, there were a whole bunch of ideas. Then we actually evaluated those ideas using sustainability and resilience criteria. We said, what are the negative implications of this? So for example, if a husband and a wife play a game and if their baby does not get born perfectly healthy, who are they going to blame? Right? So all these really uncomfortable, very wicked questions we asked ourselves. And then we actually arrived on Uma. So you could say that if you could look at something non-commercial, Uma is my favorite. You know, she's my dream. Right? And I do hope that Uma will be taken forward as a solution for the Indian ecosystem, because it can be applied not only in India but also in Africa, also in various other third world countries where women don't, you know, take their nutrition and other medical treatment seriously and carefully, and they don't follow it.
Yes.
Right? So, yeah.
Moving forward. Design is always a team project, as you said. It's always groups. Yes. So how one can build teams according to everyone's skill and create very user-centric project and employ everybody according to their skill?
I wouldn't say according to their skill is the right way to go about it, right? So because I've learned all my life, I've learned on the go. I've learned while working. So everybody should have the opportunity to learn while working, which means you do need to be optimally challenged as well, right? But at the same time, you shouldn't be put out of your comfort area so much that you don't know what to do, right? So leadership is that delicate balance that you play between optimal challenge and comfort, right? So usually I like to create squads with my teams. So if there is a function in which one person's design will have the center stage. So let's say for Uma, when we created the videos, we needed the skill of illustration, we needed the skill of animation, we needed the skill of filmmaking, we needed the skill of voiceover, we needed the skill of editing, and so on and so forth, right? So, and how do we get all those skills together? So I love to squad up. Squad up is one of my favorite words. So if you see me in a team and if there is something to be done, I ask 3 people to squad up. That just means put your talents together and all 3 of you are going to be working on this, and this is your focus for the next X number of days or X number of hours or X number of months, right? That enables them to really come together, collaborate, build cross-functional relationships amongst them, have that cross-functional data transfer, knowledge transfer happening, and at the same time, they are both inspired and challenged, and they're in their comfort zone as well. So, of course, it's not a foolproof method. You can go wrong with it as well, but mostly it's been successful so far. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This interaction will stay with us all for a very long time.
Lovely. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you.